Listen, I wanted to talk to y'all about spiritual polygamy as a result of a narcissist, okay? Now, when it comes to the topic of spiritual polygamy, I know that it's a very unusual topic, but it's a real thing, and it usually comes by way of a narcissist trauma bonding with multiple different people at once and creating multiple different soul ties. For example, a woman that creates multiple soul ties with multiple different men, and as a result, as long as they are feeding her and as long as they are compliant and participant in her agenda, they are all also soul tied to each other. Now, these types of narcissists, they love immorality. They will get other people to indulge in things that they normally wouldn't. They love being the center of attention, and all they really want is attention, money, control, and validation, and their ego to be stroked. All right. So when it comes to even narcissistic women like this, they have a rotation. And understand that a narcissist form of dating and getting to know people, they're not seeing who's a good candidate for love. They're trying to see who's a good candidate for their power supply. Hello, somebody. So all they want to do is they really just want to manage that supply according to their need for that attention, that control, the money, and their validation. So what they do is they date people and try to get to know them to collect data. And based off that data, they calculate strategy according to people they know are easy to manipulate, which are the types of men who are kind-hearted, the man that's eager to provide, a man who's able to communicate and actually has patience, a man who desires love, a man who has discipline, money, respect. See, a real woman will look at these things like good qualities, but the narcissistic woman will look at this like, he's soft. He'll look at, or she'll look at it as this is an opportunity. So it's not necessarily that the man is weak. It's that he's a good man. But you have to understand in this generation, goodness is considered weakness. So her first form of attack is not going to be aggression. It's not going to be violence. It's not going to be cursing him out or trying to dominate him right away. It's going to be access through mirroring what she detects from him or what she thinks he's attracted to. Now, she's going to start off by playing that soft girl role. She's going to play feminine. She's going to play sweet, but it's all a part of the mask, right? So she's going to tell you things like, you're different from the rest of them. Showering you down with compliments, making you feel like you're the one. And as soon as you fall for the flattery and you get all big-headed by the things that she's showering you down with, she's got you. And this is where she's going to secure her hook in you. Watch this. This is where she's going to secure her hook in you. She's going to do something like either relate to your pain. She's going to give you a story about how men have always abused her and done her wrong and how she has trust issues. And then what happens is you become the shoulder that she can cry on. You become the one that she can now confide in. But understand something, even though you're genuine and you're sincere, all she's really doing is just playing off of your emotions. It's called emotional manipulation. So what she does next is she's going to test you with something. Let's say, for example, once she sees that you're vulnerable, once she sees that you have empathy toward her, you have some type of feeling or soft spot toward her, she's going to start getting needy with you. Can you give me some gas money? I don't get paid till this Friday. And so the thing is, a lot of times, I'm not talking about with a good woman that you're really trying to build with. I'm talking about with a narcissistic woman. In this situation, she didn't actually need your money, but she wanted to test the waters to see if you were going to comply. She wants to see if you're going to jump for her. Because now that she sees that you will, your good heart and generosity is like a remote control that she can switch on and off. So as soon as she gets close to you and she sees that you're vulnerable, she starts getting real needy about everything. Now, let's say you tell her no this time. Like you start catching on to her patterns and you're like, hey, I can't do it. All right. All of a sudden, her entire demeanor is going to switch. Y'all know this if you've been through this situation. Ladies, if you've been through this with a man, or men, if you've been through this with a woman, the tactic begins to switch also. The strategy begins to switch. Now, this is where the whole hot-cold dynamic comes in that conditions your nervous system for what they call in psychology the push-pull dynamic. So she goes from being sweet and kind to complete silence. She goes from giving you attention and showering you down with compliments to complete withdrawal. She turns cold. Maybe she even starts taking low blows at you. So it's high highs followed by really low lows. But because your brain's dopamine reward system was hijacked by the flattery and by the showering down of affection by the narcissist, when they withdraw that from you, it causes the dopamine levels to drop and you deal with really low lows, and it almost feels as if you're going to die. It puts you in this deep depression, and you feel like the only way to get out of that depression is to latch back onto the very thing or person that's abusing you. All right. Now, the high highs and the low lows, this push-pull dynamic, what it does too is it penetrates a person's mind in a way to where it creates confusion, because the simple fact that you were so moved by her flattery of you makes you also vulnerable to be moved and be torn down by her withdrawal from you. So their hook is in you. Once they leave, it begins to snatch a piece of you out, and it usually comes with little pieces of your self-esteem and your self-worth, little pieces of your clarity over a period of time, until you are completely dismantled mentally and emotionally. And what she wants you to do when she withdraws is she wants you to chase her, because understand, you chasing her, that's what's feeding her ego. That's what's feeding her power supply. You are her power supply. Now, let's say you used to chase her, but you caught on to the pattern and you ain't going this time. You're not chasing her anymore. So she's going to turn to the jealousy tactic now. And this is at the point where she starts talking about her ex, or she starts talking about some new guy that's doing this and that for her, saying things like, oh, well, you won't even do this for me, but this guy right here, he's ready to give up anything just to get some of my time. Good for him. Let him have your time. And so what she's trying to do here is get you jealous, and she wants you and her other man to try and compete for a spot. That's what's happening here. And at this point, she feels like King Tut. She's in control because she's just watching these two men fight and compete for her. And at the end of the day, she don't really take either one of them seriously. And she'll never fully commit to either one of them. And so you have to be strong and secure enough as a person, as a man, to know who you are and not take that bait. But the problem becomes in this generation especially is that most men are so weak because they're controlled by their lust. They're controlled by physical attraction. So as long as you are controlled by your lust, all of your power and your discernment as a man is stripped from you. Once your lust controls you, you're spellbound. Trauma, that's basically what trauma bonding is. If you want to talk about it spiritually, it's like spell binding. And now, if you end up taking that bait, you'll be chasing, you'll be competing for a spot, you'll have a soul tie with her, and you're also going to have a soul tie with every other man that she's playing with. A lot of times it's more than two, because when a narcissistic woman is not in it for love, only control, every man that she deals with is only to play a role, to fill a certain void, or to fill a certain position in her life. So you have to realize, you'll never fully win her over. You're just going to be waiting in rotation. And when it's your turn, it's your turn. And then whenever she feels like she needs something that she's not getting from you, your turn is up. And then she's going to go on to the next man, and it's going to be his turn until it's time for your rotation to come back around, because she needs your power supply again. So she has one man to pay her bills, one man for fornication, one man who strokes her ego by asking her how high whenever she says jump. And then she has another man for backup, maybe a couple. This creates what I call spiritual polygamy, where one person ties all of her, one person ties all of you to her, and as a result, ties all of you together in the realm of the spirit. And now you got soul ties with all these different people, and now you even have demon transfers from men that she's been with that you don't even know. All right? And now her altar, the altar of Jezebel, the altar of Baal, is being it's being spiritually charged by you being her power supply. The way that you dismantle them and dismantle the situation is, number one, you cut off access. Number two, refuse to argue with confusion, because all you're going to be doing is trying to bring truth to their twisted narrative, and you're never going to be able to. They don't want truth. All right, even if they know the truth, they're not going to admit the truth. It's going to drive you crazy. You cannot argue with narcissistic people. Number three, do not take the bait. When they shower you down with affection, when they use the jealousy tactic, when they try to guilt trip you, when they try to gaslight you, when they come back in your life acting as if they've changed, whatever that bait looks like, pinpoint it See it for what it is and don't take it. And don't sit there and try to argue with them too, right? Like when they try to convince you that they've changed and you're sitting there like, oh, but have you really? Oh, well, you got to prove that. Don't even do all that, because now they see that you still care. All right. Number 4, whatever you do, no matter what they pull or what they say, you have to stay calm and collected. No matter how you truly feel inside, this is where you have to have the power of the Holy Spirit come in, and you have to be secure in who you are. This is where, the reading of the word and having the fruit of the Spirit, having self-control, having discipline, having control over your emotional state is going to come into play, because they're going to do and say things that are going to drive you crazy. They're going to do and say things that inside you're going to be boiling. You're going to feel like cussing them out. You're going to feel like snapping. You have to stay calm and collected. Do not overly react emotionally. Do not show any intense emotions, because that's what they want. And as soon as you show that, it shows that you are still under their control. You have to refuse to be their power supply. Okay? Understand that once you stop feeding their ego, their control, and you stop being their power supply, now they're in pain. It hurts them. But not because you hurt them as in you betrayed them. Their pain is coming from the shattering of their ego when they realize they can no longer control you. And now their biggest consequence is going to be your absence. Their biggest consequence is going to be all of the bridges that they burned with truly good and kind-hearted people. So when a narcissist no longer has someone compliant and participating, understand that their power supply is cut off. And the only power you have is you and the access that you give them. The only power supply that they have is your participation and your compliance, and you not being strong and secure and knowing who you are. So now they have to sit in silence with themselves. No crowd, no one to blame, no more being the star of the show, no one stroking their ego or validating them anymore. So that version of themselves that they exalted collapses when no one participates any longer. And this is how they end up being dismantled. So what they're going to have to do in this situation is either deal with their dysfunction and heal from their trauma, or they're going to have to go find a power supply somewhere else in some other person that they want to take advantage of. Listen, I hope this video could help y'all. I love putting language to this stuff because I know a lot of you all deal with this. I love y'all, and God bless. Come on, let's get it.